So LeBron James has been very vocal about the Lakers doing some type of move, right? The Lakers really do feel like they're right there. We've been able to be competitive. We've had a lot of games that we probably should have won, but even without Anthony Davis, we're still showing competitiveness. We've won games even without LeBron James and Anthony Davis, right? Russ is really coming into his own. You still have Lonnie Walker and Austin Reeves out as well, and those would obviously be huge factors for the Lakers. They were like our two most consistent role guys. So them being out is really harmful. And we got kind of just suckered in the Dallas game, which really hurt. But nonetheless, we're not that far out. We're still only 2 games back of an actual playoff spot. This team feels like they're much better, much improved. The chemistry's right, and really feel like if they just got a solid move or two, just like go get like 2 solid starting level rotation guys, the Lakers could absolutely be in the race, right? They could absolutely be in the conversation. You get to the playoffs, you trust LeBron James, you trust Anthony Davis, and you trust Russell Westbrook to get it done. Hopefully you can get some top tier guys like a Bojan Bogdanovic, somebody that's just a dead-eye sniper that can really knock down the shot. Would be a great compliment next to LeBron James, Anthony Davis, and Russell Westbrook. Really spread the floor. I still love like the Hornets deal if that's still on the table, or that's something that could be worked out. Spurs, something that gets us, a couple solid quality pieces that could really spread the floor. That would really help LeBron James and Russell Westbrook, especially getting to the rim, open the floor for Anthony Davis as well down low. It makes it a lot harder to double and kind of build a wall in the paint when you have some shooting. But the Lakers are the Lakers, and the Lakers love stars. They really love to star chase, go big name hunting, and it looks like the Lakers, based on multiple reports the last few months, that the Lakers are really eyeing and have this ideal of like, hey, let's go take both seconds and go get a Bradley Beal, a Damian Lillard, Kevin Durant. Yeah, like let's shoot for the stars, right? And personally, 1, I don't think that's very likely. 2, even if it is, I don't think that that's what they need. Like, I don't think Bradley Beal on the Lakers right now is exactly what we need. I think if you replace Russ with Bradley, yeah, maybe we're better, but I don't think we're that much better, and we still lack depth. He's injury prone, right? Anthony Davis. It's just, I don't think that that's what we need. I think we need just solid depth. We need a couple rotation guys, especially starting level guys, because that'll really allow many of our starting level players right now to go into the backup lineup. And now you're off to the races. That also gives Russ better lineups to run with rather than just kind of all the spare parts. And I just think the Lakers would be much improved with just a solid piece or two. And it's not likely going to cost as much as if you went and got a Bradley Beal or something along those lines. I do understand that, if you go get a Bradley Beal, you got him locked up long term. That would, be nice, I guess, after LeBron, because you'd have Bradley Beal and Anthony Davis. But still, I think if you're trying to win a championship now or within the next, 2 seasons after LeBron or with LeBron, then I think the depth route is the way to go. The $30 million in cap space isn't that much. You sign one guy, that's pretty much all your cap space. Like one quality guy, that's pretty much all your cap space. So I don't think that going and getting a Miles Turner or like a Gary Trent Jr. and then a bunch of vet minimum guys are going to be the answer to the Lakers' problems. I just don't. But we'll see. We'll see what develops. But once again, we get another report that LeBron James is kind of being told by the Lakers that, hey, we're going to go get you a Bradley Beal. We're going to go get you a Damian Lillard. We know that you want to trade. We know that you want us to do something, but we're really swinging for the fences. We're going to get you that help. Don't worry, LeBron. And personally, I just don't buy it. But this was the report, and it came from Chris Mannix. Now, to be fair, Chris Mannix said that he feels this. He used a lot of that, right? I feel like, the sense is based on what they're talking. So I don't know how much weight you can put into it, right? Especially when it's not like, Mannix is like, oh, I'm talking to people and it feels like the Lakers. Do the Lakers want a home run trade? Absolutely, right? Like, it's the Lakers. Again, they like the big game hunt. They like to, get the big names, the stars, right? But that doesn't mean that necessarily that's all that they'll do. So if he's asking people or talking to people, it also depends on how you're phrasing the question, like, oh, if Bradley Beal's available, would the Lakers go get him, something like that? And they're like, yeah, of course, right? Well, then, yeah, of course, then, you're going to report it that way. So I just want to preference that before I read what is said, that, take this with a grain of salt. But what Chris Mannix said is, internally, I'm sure the Lakers are selling LeBron James on an offseason when Bradley Beal or Damian Lillard becomes available, and LA swoops in with its picks to acquire them, Mannix said. But that's more fantasy than reality. So he even preferences that, hey, like, this isn't very likely to happen. Now, look, Damian Lillard, Bradley Beal, they're two guys that are very loyal, right? They have been very loyal to this point. Damian Lillard, I think, is a total pipe dream, right? I really do. Unless Portland goes to Damian Lillard and says, hey, you know what? We really want to just rebuild. We're just going to trade you. Tell us where you want to go, right? You've been so loyal. You've been so great to us. We'll send you wherever you want to go. We'll take whatever package we can get, but we want to move in a different direction. If that conversation happened, then maybe Damian Lillard, if he's like, hey, I want to go to the Lakers, then I could see the Lakers maybe getting him. Problem is, I don't think they're going to do that, for one, and two, I don't think Damian Lillard's going to leave. I just don't. We've heard for years, Damian Lillard, this is the year. And every single year, Damian Lillard says the same thing. I'm not going anywhere. I love it here. This is the place. I want to win a championship here. I hope that they build. And so maybe this is the last time. I don't know. But in reality, I think Damian Lillard is the ultimate pipe dream. I think it's like that commercial where the guy has the dollar bill on the fishing hook, and he's like, I caught you $1, right? Oh, you almost had it. Like, that's how I feel Damian Lillard is to the Lakers. They've always had this like pipe dream of going and getting Damian. I don't really see it happening. Bradley Beal is a little more interesting. Now, Bradley Beal has said, he did a whole interview with like Taylor Rooks, if I'm not mistaken, and basically said that he's willing to leave, like, right? Like, he just wants to win. He'll go where he can get. And he even said that the reason he signed the contract with Washington was because there were no other options, right? So he was like, it shows that he's willing to take less money. He was willing to go somewhere else, but there was nowhere for him to go this offseason. So he had no choice but to stay with the Wizards. And it's like, okay, well, let me get my money. And then when I'm trade eligible, then I'll figure out a trade. We'll work on that when that time comes. So he becomes trade eligible on the 15th. Maybe he decides that he wants out and he talks to Washington. Washington isn't very good. There's a lot of questions like, is Kuzma leaving? What are they going to do with Kuz? A lot of reports say that they're kind of playing like they're not going to trade him, but ultimately they will. So they trade him. Then I imagine that Bradley Beal is probably on his way out too. And the only positive that the Lakers have is that Bradley Beal has a no trade clause. So Bradley Beal can control where he wants to go, right? So that doesn't mean that the Wizards have to trade him, though, right? That's the other thing. But it might be if the Wizards do decide that they're going to tank and rebuild, I don't know how many teams are going to try to go and get Bradley Beal, if any, because his contract is like insane, insane. He's injury prone. He's not the best player on a championship team, right? I do think he would be great with LeBron James and Anthony Davis, but I don't know if that injection this season would be enough to win you a championship. I think you need a full offseason and training camp to kind of figure it out, because he would essentially be going from the number one guy to the third guy, but he's a guy that could play make, he could score, all those things, right? Okay, cool. Liability defensively, not the greatest. I'm not big on it, if I'm being honest, but it is a move the Lakers would absolutely do. Like, if tomorrow, or let's say on the 15th, because it's the 13th it's the 14th. So tomorrow, Sunday. So let's say Sunday or Monday, the Wizards will call up the Lakers and say, hey, we will trade you straight up Russell Westbrook for Bradley Beal, and we want both your first unprotected. The Lakers would do that immediately. Absolutely no questions asked. There wouldn't even be a conversation. Like, Rob Pelinka couldn't say yes fast enough. Like, as they start, like, as he picks up the phone, the immediate answer, yes, of course, right? Like, before the Wizards could even spit it out. Just because that's what the Lakers ideally want, right? And it's something that is something that Jeannie would absolutely sign off on, because that's just the Lakers. I don't think that's the best move. I don't know if the Wizards would do that, but again, Bradley Beal with the no trade clause. Washington, if they're going to rebuild, really would be in their best interest to move off of his money. And the beauty with the Lakers is the Lakers are probably the only team in the league outside of like maybe the Nets, because Kyrie has like 36 million. But outside of the Nets, the Lakers are the only team that could give them salary to match Bradley Beal and end up clearing all that money off. Like they don't have to take on long-term salary. So that would be huge if you're Washington, right? Because you don't have to take on, like let's say Miami, right? You're in order for you to trade for Bradley Beal or trade Bradley Beal, you'd have to take on like Duncan Robinson and Kyle Lowry. Now you're stuck with that money for the next several seasons. Like that's what you don't want to happen. But the Lakers, the beauty is, it's like, okay, we could get 2 first. Yeah, it's later on down the road. We could probably be better off getting first this season, but realistically, no tanking team is going to give us first right now. Any rebuilding or any contending team, we're going to have to take on a lot of long-term salary. Don't really want that. Let's unload them to the Lakers, clear our books, get those first, and then we can try to trade Kuz, try to trade whomever, and start this rebuild process. That, I think, makes a lot of sense. So I think Bradley Beal is a semi-realistic possibility, but I still don't really like the idea. I just don't. Right? Like to me, this is just, I'm hoping nonsense. I'm hoping this is just kind of a smokescreen. And not just that, but the Lakers have already shown the willingness to trade one of the first, right? Because they offered a first for Bojan Bogdanovic. And reports have came out that they're willing to give the unprotected first for Bojan, but they want to get like a Nerlens Noel or something. They just don't feel that Bojan is worth an unprotected first by himself. So they're trying to work it out to where they get somebody else. So the Lakers aren't against trading the first round picks. Like as much as like people have said, no, like based on all the reports, we know that the Lakers have offered that. It's not like, I don't know. Like they offered a protected first, and now because they want an unprotected first, they're trying to work out to where they get another piece to justify the unprotected first. So the whole idea of like the Lakers won't give up the first unless it's a star, I just don't buy. But if a star becomes, like if Bradley Beal becomes available on the 15th, Lakers will absolutely do that deal. And I'm not going to be mad about it, right? Because, I mean, you're getting a third star, right? And Bradley Beal is a guy that if he works, the Lakers might be off to the races. I don't know if they'll be able to make it work quick enough, and his injury history is a real concern. But if they can, then yeah, they should probably win the championship, right? You got Bradley Beal, LeBron James, and Anthony Davis. If those three are healthy come the playoffs, even with the rest of the pieces we have, we absolutely should win. Then maybe you could take like, a Kendrick Nunn, Patrick Beverley, and, a couple seconds, because at that point you don't have any more firsts, but maybe you could package, you have Chicago's 2023 second, you have your own 2023 second, and a couple other seconds. Maybe you could go get like one of these like other players, right? Maybe you could go get like a couple pieces from the Spurs or something, or whatever, right? Like maybe go get Cam Reddish, and then maybe go get another piece just to kind of get some size, because between these three, you'd have enough scoring, right? Between Bradley Beal, LeBron James, and Anthony Davis, you'd have more than enough scoring. But I do not see Damian Lillard, right? Like if Damian Lillard could come, the only reason I would absolutely love Damian Lillard, because I still feel many of the same things. Like Damian Lillard has been a lot more injury prone lately. He messes up the depth, all those things, right? It's a lot of the stuff with Damian Lillard is true as Bradley Beal, but this is kind of my bias, I guess. I love Damian Lillard. I have always wanted to see that guy in a Lakers jersey. Like, I would love to win a championship and get Damian Lillard a ring if we could. Clutch time. Imagine Damian Lillard. Like, we would probably be undefeated right now if we had Damian Lillard on the Lakers with just his clutchness, because that's our big problem. We don't have a closer, right? So Damian Lillard, Dame time, I'm pretty sure he would do that. And he would be huge for us in the playoffs. I just don't, if I'm being honest, if I clear head, Damian Lillard's not coming to the Lakers. I just don't think it. So, never say never. I don't like to speak in definitives because you never really know, especially when it comes to sports. But the likelihood of Damian Lillard coming to the Lakers is, in my opinion, is about as close to zero as it gets, just because I don't think he's going to leave, and I don't think Portland is going to trade him, right? I just don't. Now, if for whatever reason he does become available, then yeah, if he wants to go to the Lakers, sure. Because I do think Portland, as much as, you have the Blazer-Laker rivalry and stuff like that, and it has all the talks about they hate, the Lakers and stuff, and they're not big on making deals with the Lakers and all that stuff. If Dame said, send me to LA, I absolutely believe they would send him to LA. I really do. Just because he's done so much for that city, so much for that team. Just out of respect for Dame, I think they would send him to LA. But I don't see Damian Lillard coming to the Lakers. I don't see him in purple and gold. I would love it if it happens, just as a huge fan of Dame time. But I do think Bradley Beal, if they were to get a star, Bradley Beal is the most likely, personally. I think Bradley Beal is the one guy that you could actually get. And honestly, if you could, because here's something else that I should actually preference to as well for those that have made it this long in the video. One, I still think the Lakers really want Kyrie Irving, and Bradley Beal and Kevin Durant are good friends, right? So, and there's been tons of talks of Kevin Durant going to Washington, going back home. So it would be Bradley Beal would give you that trade chip to go get Kyrie, because the Nets can't trade Kyrie. But the main point that I want to kind of get across, that I probably should have mentioned earlier in the video, which is that if the Lakers go into the offseason, I do not see them getting a star. They would have to trade for them this season, because they don't have any tradable guys in the offseason unless you do a sign and trade with Russell Westbrook. But why would any of these teams want Russell Westbrook if they're going to rebuild? It makes zero sense. So unless the Lakers are able to trade for Bradley Beal this trade deadline, he's not coming, because you're not going to be able to go get him in the offseason. There's just no way, because you don't have any salaries. And why would Washington, if they're going to rebuild, why would they want to work out a sign and trade and overpay Russell Westbrook and take him on for 4 years or whatever? Unless they just hey, we'll get, sign and trade for a year. Hey, you probably would only get $15 million a year anywhere else, but we'll give you enough money to make the trade for Bradley Beal. And, you're just going to sit here for a year and play for a year, and then that's it. Maybe we'll just sit him at home. But even then, that doesn't make really a ton of sense for Washington. I just don't really see it. So unless the deal gets done this trade deadline, the probability of them getting another star, I think, is about zero unless Kyrie comes. If Kyrie comes to the Lakers, but even then you only have $30 million to offer him. So would he be willing to take that discount? All the brand deals and stuff like that, LeBron might be able to help him get another shoe deal. So maybe Kyrie can be like, well, I could take the hit on my checks, but I'd make more money doing all these other, endorsements and stuff like that. So let me do that. That could be a possibility. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion, so I pass the question on to you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? Do you think that they get either of these guys? Do you want either of these guys? Do you want the more depth route? However you feel, whatever your thoughts are, I'd love to hear them. Let me know down in the comment section below.